Peace and blessings to the chosen. All praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Shemel Shai. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Salutations to the occupant pushing his truth with sincerity and charity, risking their lives and freedom to do so. I'm the brother you lied, and I'm responding to the Joseph Doctrine, perceived to be coming from the black-only Israelites. Once again, I want to reiterate that this is not a black thing. All right. So they're scoffing to say, how can it be that Joseph, a darker complected man, gave his offspring a seeding his seed and created Ephraim and Manasseh. And they're trying to deny that the Latinos and Native Americans are part of the Northern Kingdom, because they believe that all Israelites look like Judah, like black, like dark, or on the heavier side of melanation. But when we talking about Ephraim, whether it's just the tribe of Ephraim, which would be minor Ephraim, or major Ephraim, the entire 10 tribes, Northern Kingdom, it says Hosea 7:8, Ephraim had mixed himself among the people. Ephraim is a cake not turned. We talking about the same Ephraim that went into captivity under Assyria. We talking about the same Ephraim that had in the past had bordered Moab and Ammon, and had borders with the nations, and was among the nations while in Assyria in the captivity. We talking about the same set of people that were colonized and robbed and pillaged here in the Americas when they went to they left to Azeroth. This is 2nd Ezra 13:40. Those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea the king, whom Salmanasar the king of Assyria led away captive. He carried them over the waters, and so came they into another land. But they took this counsel among themselves, that they would leave the multitude of the heathen. Hold on. So they was already there. It was already among the other nations. Okay. It says, and go forth into a country where never mankind dwelt. So, hold on. The 10 tribes, talking about the Northern Kingdom, talking about Ephraim, talking about Manasseh, Issachar, Zebulon, Naphtali, Gad, Reuben. All right. You talking about the 10 tribes. They roughly paraphrase in the scriptures the 10 tribes. The Northern Kingdom already was among and in the scriptures it did say you was gonna be scattered among it was a curse to be scattered among it did say we was gonna be scattered. Let me grab that. Which one I want? Deuteronomy 30:3. Then that the Lord Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, thy power, will turn thy captivity, and have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all the nations whither the Lord Yahweh, thy power, had scattered thee. So you were scattered among the nations. And you go live among them nations, you gonna look like them other nations that you were scattered among. So this is not a black thing. Here we are in Azeroth, the land that the Americas, plainly, that the Northern Kingdom, Joseph ran to, right? And this is one of the most diverse corners in the world, because all people have come to this part of the world. After the foundation of the United States of America and the foundation of the world traffic and the world trade, all peoples have come over here and mixed and mingled. So when it says that he's a cake not turned, we'll go back to it. You bake a cake on one side. I like to cook, right? You bake a cake, throw a cake in the oven on one side. Just throw it. Don't know, just throw it. And then, you take the cake out. On one side, right? This is a cake not turned. You don't turn cake. You don't turn, at least from what I've known, you don't turn cake. So maybe in the ancient world it might have been different, but when you unless you stacking the cake, because it may be layers, so you might stack a cake, a layer of cake on top of the other, but that one layer in itself is going to be darker where it's closer to the fire and lighter where it's closer to the top. In fact, the top part is the one that pushes out more. Because the yeast and leaven build it up more. That is softer usually, rather than the other side. But evidently, what I mean here is that there's a difference between the part that's closer to the fire and the one that's further away from it, because Ephraim has been mixed in that among the other nations. I think I pretty much said it very simple. It's not complicated. Jeremiah 10:16, the portion of Jacob is not like them, for he is the former of all things, and Israel is the rod of his inheritance. The Lord Yahweh of hosts is his name. So Jacob is the former of all things. Yeah, so sure, the patriarchs were darker complected. Sure, absolutely. But to say that a lighter complected people cannot come from the loins of a darker complected individual is a lie. It's a lie. It's a pure lie. It's the whole concept of what we bring out about Esau. Isaac was a darker complected man. So Esau came out as that so-called white man. He came out as what this world will refer to as an albino. And there's only two ways that someone like that can come out, is if they was born that way or if they turned that way by way of leprosy, which today is called vitiligo, the Michael Jackson syndrome. So it is a lie to say that lighter skinned complected people can't come from darker complected people. That's a lie. And then when you account the history of what not only just the Northern Kingdom, but even the Southern Kingdom has been under the captivities and among other nations. So Northern Kingdom and Southern Kingdom look like other nations to this day. There are some scattered. Now, granted, the majority are here in the Americas, being the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, but that's just what happens over time. You live among other nations. Why? Because you were captured, a captive, a slave, a servant, because you lost wars to these people, or you just moved over there. This is the curse of our people, that we be scattered all over the earth. And here it is, you making up mockery against the Latino and Native American brothers, and that's, but it has to be talked about. It has to be rebuked. It has to be, because once you start with the Northern Kingdom, then what? You gonna go to Judah, and then you gonna say, "Oh, that brother too light skinned to be an Israelite," and then it's too light skinned, and then what? But these are the same kind of men that would more than likely let Hamites into the fold, because they match the physical look or description that the black only Israelites desire. Titus 1, And 10, for there are many unruly, vain talkers and deceivers, especially they of the circumcision. So you have some black only Hebrew Israelites, and in their mind, you have to be black to be an Israelite, or you have to be a certain skin color, and that's confusion. That's they of the circumcision. They know they've heard the doctrine, and they know about the truth to an extent. They know about the truth to an extent. I mean, shit. It's even hard to say they of the circumcision because they excluding an entire part of Israel, a major part of Israel. It's hard to say that the Old Testament only Israelites are part of the circumcision because they exclude a major part of the scriptures. That's that. But nevertheless, they know of the truth. But we have to talk about these people because why? Titus 1:11, whose mouths must be stopped, whose avert whole households, teaching things they ought not for filthy lucre's sake. So they creating division, trying to sow discord. Yeah, don't from such turn away. Don't go over there. This is not a black thing, okay? There are Israelites that look like the other nations. They look like so-called white people. They look like so-called Asian people. They look like so-called Arabs. But we find things by the Spirit. We try the Spirit by the Spirit. Our spirit bear witness. Romans 8:16. The Spirit itself bear witness with our spirit that we are the children of God. Right? You're not finna give these other nations the salt and the rhythm. Now, granted, there are mighty men among other nations, but you're not finna do that. You're not finna give these other nations too much credit when we know the stories of Jake fleeing to other parts of the world and never coming back. But Jake is fruitful. Okay. And 5 generations later, you got a bunch of people that look just like him. They just a different skin color. They got the same facial features, same kind of characteristics, move the same way, dance the same way, right? Doing the same thing that they great grandfather used to do, but they don't look like him in skin complexion. So you say they not of him now. That's madness. And forgive me if I vented a bit because it's madness. Lord willing, this was edifying. All praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bashem, Yahushua. Shalom.